Raya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Namo Mahapadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayati Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gaurachise Namaha Ananda Lidamaya Vigrahaya Himavya Divacha Vishundaraya Tasmi Mahaprema Raspadaya Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Hare Krishna. So here's the text again, this time this is the translation. Although the causes of death, the Daityas, were very fierce, they could not kill this boy Krishna. Rather, because they came to kill innocent boys, as soon as they approached, they themselves were killed, exactly like flies attacking a fire. Hare Krishna. Let me offer my humble obeisances to Hari Aisha Prabhu. I noticed that you're on, because you should have followed. We're talking about for Harrisburg and mention your name. And now I see you on there too. Very, very nicely. Thank you very much for coming. I feel quite in a humble position actually that you're a Prabhupada disciple on here listening. Hare Krishna. So, um, although the causes of death, the Daityas, were very fierce, they could not kill this boy Krishna. Rather, because they came to kill innocent boys, as soon as they approached, they themselves were killed exactly like flies attacking a fire. So this is Nanda Maharaj speaking, of course, through the complement of Yoga Maya. He doesn't even know he's with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's what starts the whole thing, makes it interesting. In American language, you can say Krishna is a trip, but we won't even get into that. That it's so deceptive to have a good time. An entire pastimes, one after another. So we are not qualified. I'm certainly not qualified. But sitting behind and watching this, I'm just like, this is Krishna, this is Krishna. No wonder Satyabhati doesn't want to get off Krishna's pastimes as a kid, because that alone is so wonderful. He says that. He says that. In Damodarasakam, he says that. And the more you hear about this, the more you realize, that man is right. It is really very interesting. Anyway, so I'm supposed to preach about it. I'm already enjoying the way it feels. So here we go again. This time is a bird, a demon that like the big bird that's come. Bakasura. And Krishna just made a mincemeat of him, of this bird, easily. Came to attack. This is a text before. It talks about this particular pastime. Krishna, the boys innocently, Krishna is just their hero. Cowherd boys. They get up in the morning, all they're thinking about Krishna. How are we going to play with Krishna? How are we going to deal with the cows today? I mean, it's fun. Life is fun for them. And Krishna just joins them. He's the Supreme Personality of God. They have no idea. And they go out in the field, and it's like, yeah, it's another day, another demon is going to come, and Krishna is just going to show us his power. And we're all going to have fun. So, yeah, Agasura came, and then literally ate up Krishna. Oh, this time, geez, and some people are being, Krishna's gone. Krishna's gone? Are you kidding? Krishna's never gone. Next thing you know, he heats up himself, heats up this poor bird's throat, and has to just cough him right out. Here comes Krishna. Takes this bird, just the beak, just whoop, all the joints come apart. As some of us engineers, all the screws, natural screws come apart. This bird is gone. And the cowboy, yeah, Krishna, every time. He's a big hero, right? But the adults don't think like that. How come a little boy can do all of this? First, it was Putana, then the whirlwind got him. It was a woman that dressed nicely, but it was a demon, 12 miles long, came as a little, tried to breastfeed Krishna. It's one after another, one after another. As a matter of fact, when Krishna got older, a little bit older, which is the time we're in now, as far as the pastimes, Sri Radha Maharaj explained that not every demon situation that Krishna killed is described in the Bhagavatam, but actually, Kamsa was sending a demon every single day. So if you had to write all of them, obviously it would be a pretty long, long side of 10th canto. But he was killing a demon every single day. So to the cowherd boys, it was just part of the program. The little cowherd boys, they would tend to the cows around. And the funny thing is they came pretty much at the same time too, just before lunch. So it's become a thing where a demon comes, they will be tending to the cows, and then a demon approaches something, something will happen that's unusual. And the cowboys kind of expect it because it's been happening every day. So for them, it's another movie they're gonna watch. The demon comes. It's another kind of demon. Sure, sure. We don't want the same movie. We want different ones. They don't care. Them, they know the Christian is so good, he's gonna, get rid of this demon. And they're gonna watch how he's gonna do it. He's their hero. They already know he's gonna win. But the adults have no idea how things are unfolding like that because they're a little more mature. So see, the cowherd boys are innocent. They're just watching Krishna having a good time. But the adults, they can't believe it. A little boy, they are affected by Yoga Maya completely. So how can a little boy do this? And that Nanda Maharaj obviously would think like that. So he says the Daityas were demons. True enough, they are from Kashyapa Muni in oops, I'm getting connection unstable. Okay, I hope you guys can hear me. It just went off my screen. Um, they were very fierce. All of these demons, they were very fierce. They couldn't kill this boy. Rather, because they came to kill innocent boys. So by karma, by karma, you're gonna do something wrong, wrong is gonna be done to you. Mm. Except that this is immediate reaction. You come to do this, you're gonna do this, it's gonna happen to you. So as soon as they approach, exactly like flies attacking the fire, which means they were no match at all. A fly is going to a fire, that fly is dead. When it gets closer, they love the fire, though, some of them, because of the light, they just right into it. And then they finished. Mm. So Nanda Maharaj is thinking like that. Nanda Maharaj innocently, because he didn't know that this boy Krishna was in fact the supreme personality of this boy Krishna formally killed all these demons, and therefore it's payback time. In this lifetime, they are envious and they are attacking him. Well, that's one logical way of thinking. If you have bad karma, you accumulate as karma. Prarabdha karma, what's the karma that's matured? In this case, it will be Prarabdha karma if we're going by karma. But Krishna is not affected by karma. He's just playing his pastime, role like that. But Nanda Maharaj is thinking, according to the way things normally happen, if you've done something bad over a number of years, sometimes, the payback will happen. It happened to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was born blind. There was some good karma. Otherwise, he wouldn't be one of the princes and wind up becoming a king. So the good karma was there. But the bad karma was also there. He was blind. He become a king because his younger brother Pandu died, and therefore he was made king. But he was the first, though. He was the older one. So he really, if he wasn't blind, he could have been king. But he was bypassed, and that hurt his feelings, even though he kept quiet about it. He was bypassed, and Pandu, who was okay, he could see and everything, so he could fight and all of that, to lead an army if need be. He was given the throne and the crown. So it got to a point where he wondered, why did all of this happen to me? I'm the firstborn. I'm the first in line. I'm the crown prince, but I'm blind and I've been bypassed. And my next, my younger brother's been given this because of this blindness. Now we know how it all happened. The mother closed her eyes, but still, it's things unfolded such that Dhritarashtra has become blind. So he asked Krishna, why was I blind this lifetime? And Krishna, yeah, sure, you asked me, so I'll tell you. So Krishna explained 50 lifetimes ago, you were a hunter. You were in the field. You saw a nest of birds in a tree, and you use them for target practice. You took your arrow, flaming arrow with fire on the tip, and aimed it at the nest, and your aim was accurate. It got to the nest, it started burning the nest. The nest happened to have 100 small birds in there. Normally, when bird male and female get ready to have children, then they build a nest. That's the time they make a home. Otherwise, they can just fly wherever and land on whatever branch. Mhm. So these were grihastas in the bird family, right? But so this is a situation they're in, living their life. There comes this arrow, all of a sudden, emergency. The little birds hadn't learned to fly. So what happens? They all burn to death. The father bird was not there at the time. The mother bird was there though. And so she saw this and she reacted and flew away. But the fire got her and made her blind. So she flew away, but she flew away a blind bird. And you can imagine the rest of her life. If she tries to land on any tree, she's going to bump the branch because she can't see. So she went through all of this and she got a soul just like us. Okay, at the spiritual level, she's not less than us or any of the birds. So then Krishna explained, this is what she did. So the 100 birds died from your flaming arrow, and this mother bird was blind. So that was the question, the answer to the question. That's why this lifetime is now your karma is matured. You are blind. So that question was answered. Now, what else happened? Well, when the Kurukshetra war started, by the time it ended, all of the 100 sons of the Dash had been killed, just like all of the 100 little birds were killed in the nest. Second point was the one person at that time, the hunter with the flaming arrow, one person killed all 100 birds. Therefore, in the Kurukshetra war, one person, Bhim, alone killed all the 100 sons too. You talk about payback, very consistent. So those things happen. We are fortunate that in Krishna consciousness, we are given the mercy by the spiritual master. Because if we are to pay for the things that we've done in the past, believe me, we'll be in all kinds of trouble. All kinds of trouble. So initiation, when the spiritual master takes on this situation, where now he just erases all that we did in the past, good or bad, and gives the time to start over. This is the time to take it seriously. Our slate has been wiped clean. That's one. Second, we have an opportunity to go back to Godhead through the mantra in Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Wonderful opportunity. So much help is there from senior devotees, that advice from Shiksha gurus, from our own Diksha guru, and then from the Parampara, including the Lord himself as Lord Gauranga and Lord Nityananda. What could be better in Kali Yuga? And then we have a short lifetime too. So life is difficult, but we don't have to live here that long compared to the other yugas. 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 years. We go 100 years, and if we take it seriously, we're right back to Godhead, where we came from, where there was no problem. So we have a wonderful opportunity. Anyway, to come back to this, in the purport, Maharaj Nanda is thinking that it was because of some things. It may have been because of all of these demons coming. It must have been Krishna did something bad to them in a previous life or some previous life, and they're trying to have him pay for what he did. And that's why they are attacking him. Then it says, oh, Krishna is so potent. So many things he could do. So he's like fire and all like flies. And the rest of them are like flies. Yeah, they've come, but they don't have a chance. Hmm? From the way things have happened up to this point, they don't have a chance. There's a fight between fire and flies. Well, that kind of fight is way lopsided because the fire can easily consume the flies. And that's what he's thinking. Hmm? Krishna is a fire, and all these demons are like flies. Now we need to remember that the demons are like flies before the Lord. So there is no reason for any devotee to fear any difficult situation, even if it's caused by a demon, the modern demons of today. That's what I actually mean. I'm implying that, even though I won't get into politics. Krishna protects us. Therefore, there's no reason to fear. He says, Masuchaha in Bhagavad Gita 1866. He also says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 16, text 1, 2, and 3, they are together. The very first thing he talks about as far as the qualities of a Brahman is fearlessness. So again, we're being told, Srila Prabhupada, by his mercy, is put us in a Brahminical platform, actually even higher than that, Vaishnava platform. Remember, we're studying to be, or we're learning how to be Vaishnavas. Pure devotees are Vaishnavas already, and the rest of us are learning to be. By the mercy, we're being guided. But the opportunity is there. And Krishna says fearlessness. And if Krishna is a fire compared to these flies, who really are big demons, compared to us, we wouldn't last in front of them. But none of us looks at them and says that they are like flies. That this fire, Krishna's fire, easily consumes them. Because really, it was no contest. Every time a demon came, it was no contest. Really, there wasn't. So that is very true. So then we also should understand that as long as we are doing the right thing in devotional service, Sadhana Bhakti, a demon is also no contest. But not for us. We can fight the demons directly, but the one that has no contest is the one on our side. So what do we have to fear? See, that situation, we are very well protected. Like in the jungles, the wild elephants, the little elephant, the little baby elephant, is very vulnerable. When the lions are hungry, and I've seen this in sometimes I watch YouTube, I'm fascinated with sometimes how they live their lives. The lions know that they cannot fight the big elephant. They'll be killed. But they know the little elephant is vulnerable and they can kill that elephant. They are hungry. And so they are so hungry. And of course, they are faster than the elephants too. So they can move quickly. And so the big elephant can't get them so easily. And so they team up and they try to get that little elephant. And I've seen this. And the protection the little elephant is just go between two mothers and get shielded like that. Then the lions can't get to it. They can't. This is our situation. We're like the little elephant, shielded on one side by Lord Chaitanya, shielded on the other side by Lord Nityananda. So what do we have to fear? They are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What do? Just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And follow the principles, not only the regulated principles, but even more importantly, do not offend. As soon as we offend, we become aparadis, the cloak of protection comes off. We are vulnerable then. Krishna does not protect. Radharani doesn't like that. When we offend, because we may be looking at ourselves, and we should look at ourselves as insignificant. But what we're connected with is huge. Nobody has it in this world. That's the difference. So each one, we're saying that so that each one should remember that every devotee should regard the other devotee as very important. Because the mission that we have, the mercy of the Lord that's been given to us, when we chant Hare Krishna, all of the entities around us benefit. Now, to us, we're just chanting Hare Krishna. It's not difficult to do because this age, that Yugadam is made easy. But so many other entities, just our chanting out loud. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Alone. Just our chanting outside, all of the living entities close to us in our proximity, they all benefit from it. Especially those ones that are the human, they can hear. They may not, oh, we're not devotees, I don't know what it means to me. It doesn't matter. They still get some benefit. And the other ones that are non-human, they couldn't even chant at all. But when we chant around them, they also benefit. Not to speak of Rati, but Jagannath comes out, everyone that sees him, they get the mercy. But who brings Lord Jagannath out? The devotees. Who chants to Lord Jagannath? The devotees. Who feeds Lord Jagannath? The devotees. Who gives Mahaprasadam to the people? The devotees. And then we look at each other like we are insignificant. We're not. We are insignificant compared to the Lord. But the function that we do is extremely important. We're helping Srila Prabhupada save the whole world. Could be more. So yes, we are insignificant, but we got a job that's really huge. Therefore, we should respect each other. That's why it's very, very important we don't offend each other. In other words, each one of us is insignificant, but our purpose on this earth is so important that nobody should see us going against each other when each one of us is like a little ambassador for the world. That's how important we are in terms of the function that we do. But ourselves, yeah, we are little insignificant like everybody else, apart, as far as the spiritual, the soul is concerned. But our function is, we shouldn't get this wrong. Our function on this earth, the way we're serving and the way we're being saved ourselves, we're being saved, true enough. But the way we're serving, the way it's been laid down for us to serve is so important in this world, especially at this time that situations are becoming worse and worse and worse. Devotees are really in an excellent position to give Krishna consciousness to desperate people. And it's only a matter of time people are going to be more desperate. And that is the time, if you feed people or give people what they need materially, like people are hungry or situations, but situations are getting, it's bad now, it's going to get worse around the world. That's been predicted. It's in the Bible, it's in so many other, as they say, the books, the holy books for the other religions. They're not wrong. They don't talk about transcendence, but they certainly do talk accurately about what's going to happen on the earth, though. That's there. That's there. And so that's why we need to respect those books too. It's a fourth offense. Blaspheme Vedic literature and literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. The literature in pursuance of the Vedic version are these other ones. The Quran, the Torah, the Bible. This is Krishna giving mercy, ascendance yet, because they don't want to go by the regulatory principles. They don't want to renounce and so on, but they still talk about God. So it's a little bit is there. So we need to respect them. But we need to understand that our function, even though we're living sadhana bhakti, bhakti by instruction, we don't even know how to love Krishna so well, but we are in a position to help in a very significant way to the Prabhupada's mission. So fighting is always taking place, Srila Prabhupada said, between the demons and the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashtaya chadushkritam. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashtaya chadushkritam dharma samstapatanaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So that is Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text 8, and the translation is to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion. I appear myself millennium after millennium. Krishna comes sometimes after, like himself, or he comes, fully Krishna, or the different incarnations, millennium after millennium. So the demons are removed by Krishna easily. But now we have some problems too. The demons in our minds, that also needs to be removed. And there are ways to do that. Of course, the chanting the Hare Krishna is purifying hearing, and hearing, especially if we hear every day, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. That is very helpful to us. And the more we hear, the sweeter bhakti becomes in our own lives, in our own ways. Krishna is he customs designs the happiness for us. Everybody knows where they're at. Krishna just moves us forward based on our willingness to hear. And then chant sincerely and chant attentively. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And speaking about chanting, so I watched the video by His Holiness the late Go Govinda Maharaj, and he was stressing the importance of chanting with attention. We should chant with the image of Radha Krishna in mind, or look at the deity, or look at the picture of Radha Krishna, or look at the spiritual masters. Those pictures that remind us. But he was focusing especially on the attentive chanting in terms of, and he was very specific. And there was it looked like from what he was reading a quotation from a Shastra, but it was very specific. He says, you have to move your upper lips and lower lips. So if you don't do that, you are namabas immediately. You go, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. You now move your lips immediately. They don't come out well. You may be focusing on Krishna. Even when you're focusing on Krishna, he says you have to move your upper lips and lower lips and your tongue. And if you do that, you definitely will pronounce the words properly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. So if you just consciously make sure that my lips should move, you will definitely, if you move your lips, the words will come out okay. If you don't move your lips, come clearly. So that was help that I picked up, and I just like to share it. So now, um, again, I've got this sign. Internet is unstable. Anyway, I hope you hear me, not any problem. So the demon in our minds have to be removed. How? Well, keeping the chanting focused properly. And he said another thing that I'd like to bring up about chanting when we chant. Now we know about the Brahmahutta time. Mm. He actually was talking about the 10 offenses, and then he brought up the chanting also at that time. This is the second video that I watched. So he said the best time is to chant the Brahmahutta time. And he says 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. that time. Mm. Then he said after that, so many things begin to happen. People are awake, and then of course their thoughts affect the atmosphere, all kinds of negativity, goodness, a little more passion, way more ignorance in terms of people's thoughts and speech and all of that get into the air. And now the air becomes so unclean compared to the way it was between 4 and 6 that many people were not out yet, or 3 for that matter. Some people are not even awake at 3 o'clock. So that was the best time. He said, so he was saying that you need to chant. You need to finish your rounds. But Chaitanya said there's no hard and fast rules. But Gogovina Maharaj will challenge you to go to a higher level, though. He's like that. So he says 4 to 6. Time. 6. You may stop if you finished your round. He says, when do you continue on in the evening? Now, again, I know Chaitanya says there's no hard and fast rules, but again, I will repeat, Govinda Maharaj is trying to get us to be as conscious as possible. That's where he's speaking from. So he said, finish the rest of it in the evening, the time where you are at a place where there's not much distraction. Evening means that some people are also getting ready to go to bed. And so some of it, of course, we know the bars are still open. So things are going on. Most of the people have unwound whatever they got to do and whatever you have to relate. If you have children, 9 o'clock, they may be sleeping. So then you finish the last few rounds that you have left at that time, if it comes to that. But the first thing to do is morning. So he says morning, the rest of the day in the middle, there's all kinds of energies. So if you try to chant, you're not going to be able to concentrate well. So it's really not our fault. It's actually what's going on around, when people are awake. In Kali Yuga, energy is so bad. So if you try to chant during the daytime, you're going to get more distraction because of the way things are at your own house. Even if it's more to goodness, and but outside, all kinds of things are going on, and all those thoughts are bombarding all of us. They come into our subconscious. So it's more difficult to chant attentively during the daytime when a lot of things are going on in Kali Yuga. But before that time, when people are not awake, it's best to chant at that time. You would chant without much distraction. And then later on in the evening, if you didn't finish and your family is now left you alone, you got all kinds of, you can have some time to yourself, then finish the rounds if you want to. Or chant more than 16 rounds. Why not? We say we want to love Krishna, but we're doing a minimum for Krishna. No, Krishna said, let me see, Prabhupada, give us a mercy. Chant 16 rounds. 16 rounds. instead of 64 rounds, 10, 16 rounds, but we certainly can add more to it. And the more we add, the better the better it is for us, because Krishna says, the extent to which we surrender to the process, he rewards accordingly. So we have this opportunity. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj gave some words of wisdom, and we'd like to end with your permission and guidance from my Guru Maharaj and Parampara, some of the words of wisdom that he's talked about. There are 25 of them, but we've selected a few here. He says, um, possession, this is the point number 3, so I'm just picking some of them. Possession of objects not related to Krishna is our main malady. Malady means disease. Possession of objects not relating to Krishna is our main disease. In other words, those things that we don't need, that are material, we don't really need, and we are attached to them because it makes us feel good materially and it makes us more like it gratifies our senses. Those things are the ones that keep us from the straight course of Krishna consciousness. Hmm. The next point, number 4, that hit me like a ton of bricks. I'll read it and then we'll just hit. He says, let me not desire anything but the highest good for my worst enemies. I'll say that again. Let me not want anything but the highest good. Let me desire the highest good for my worst enemies. Now, I would assume we don't have enemies. In other words, we don't hate other people, but other people may hate us because we can't avoid what other people do to us. Only our reaction is all we can do. Okay, so they are enemies, and some of them we know hate us badly. I mean, some of you live in my neighborhood, they already do that to me. I just have to ignore it. So this is going on. This is going, why you parked here and this is having go park there. I had 3 different neighbors ask me to move my car just because on the street, common street, and I had to learn not to fight them because it gets to a point where Krishna will just solve it. One of them regretted later on and apologized. So what to do? This is just life. So people do all kinds of things. Let me not desire anything but the highest good for my worst enemies. So I kept praying to my Guru Maharaj, how do you, knowing these people hate you, desire the highest good? And the first thing I hit me, those people that were beating him, first point, Parikshit, it's been done. Okay? And then he went, Jesus. When he was being beaten, he says, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. Another point. So I said, so you know these two. And now back to the answer, I summarized it and told you, let me not desire anything but the highest good for my worst enemies. And what's your defense? You have to do. I said, I prayed to my Guru Maharaj and it hit me. You know what? I'm going to be sincere about this. Please, Gurudev, here's my prayer. Anybody that I know that dislikes me, and I say that person because I know them. When they dislike you, they acted negatively towards you, so you know. Make them a pure devotee in this life or the next life. And as soon as I said that, I felt good. So now, anybody that's my worst enemy, my prayer is, dear Radha, dear Krishna, dear Gurudev, make this person pure devotee. After all, that's the best thing for them anyway. That's how it's going to get back to the spiritual world if they become pure. So that's my prayer. And this is how I did it. So I'm sure I'm not good. It's just that I prayed to my Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, and this is the response I got. Tell Krishna, tell Guru, tell anyone that is, in power, Lord Nityananda, Lord Gauranga, to make this person that hates me a pure devotee. And I've been relieved since. They pray the same prayer. So that I'm just sharing. Okay? And it doesn't mean you have to do the same thing if you want to, but this is what I've been doing in that situation. So the next point, that's point number 5. As dalliance, now I have to kind of warn you, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj uses big words, but any big words here will explain because I'm going to find the meanings of those. So I'll read it like it is. As dalliance with the body in luxury increases, so wanes the spirit of service of the Lord. As dalliance with the body in luxury of service to the Lord. So what does he mean? Well, dalliance is amorous play, according to the dictionary. Having a good time, drinking, womanizing, all kinds of things that commies do, and they say they're having a good time. That so that kind of thing, doing that with the body in luxury, if that increases, then the other way is the spirit of service of the Lord decreases. In other words, the more we get the sense gratification, the less chance we have to do bhakti properly, is what he's saying. So he's warning us, don't get too involved in wonderful so-called wonderful great material life. Hmm? If you have things, sometimes some people are quite well off, use it in service to Krishna. You have more money, so donate more. Temple of Vedic Planetarium needs everybody's contribution. So put money there, put money to the temple, other temples, different projects that you're interested in, give to them and serve and serve and serve and serve. Mm. But if we don't do that and we start enjoying ourselves with what we have for sense gratification, then our spirit of service to the Lord goes down, is what he's saying. Okay. So, number 7, he says, there is no peace or happiness in our worldly life. You see, the Baptist understanding I tried to talk about is very direct. There is no peace or happiness in this worldly life. Circumstances create turmoil and annoyance. So Haribo, now he's put it out. There is no peace or happiness in our worldly life. This is not the place that we are going to be happy. It's called Kunta. The spiritual world is Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha, no anxiety. The material world is Kunta. It has anxiety. So much so that even if we pray for good things to happen to us, your Papa says, nobody in their right mind prays for bad things. Everybody prays for something good, even if it's material. And many religions do that. Give me this, give me that, give me a good job, help my brother, do it quickly. And if you don't do it, I'm going to fast so that you can do it. But all of that's going on, going on. But they want something good. So Papa says, but even though they pray for good things, bad things happen anyway to them. And that's the point Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj is saying. Bad things will come. This is a place of happiness and distress, material happiness, material distress. So and as long as there's distress, you're not going to have peace. So then there is no peace or happiness in our worldly life. And circumstances tend to create turmoil and annoyance. So what do? You stick with Bhakti Yoga, you respect everybody, you act based on what Lord Chaitanya has said. That's what you do. That's what you do. You should be humbler than a blade of grass. What happens to grass? People step on it, they don't say anything. The grass doesn't protest. What about the tree? All kinds of things happen to the poor tree. The Prabhupada has talked about it. You're outside as a tree. He says, imagine, he says, in his time in school, when the student does something that's bad, the teacher says, stand up, go face the wall, stand up. He says, I don't know what these people are. My school was like that too. It makes you face the wall. And for a few 10 minutes, and just your back, the whole class is going, the teacher is teaching, and the person that's talking and not paying attention, they call you by name and say, you go to the corner of a wall and stand there, not facing the class, face the wall. Your back, your face is against the wall. And the teaching is going on. You're not writing any notes. So that is a quick punishment. Then he said, but for even if somebody just stands there for just 10 minutes, look how much trouble it gives to the child. And then imagine a tree standing up for 5,000 years in a pinching cold, in torrents of rain. This is also Baba, I'm quoting him directly. Torrents of rain, pinching cold, the sun scorching heat, all of that. Suppose if you were told to go stand there, would you say yes? I said, no. Baba has talked to that calmly. No, I wouldn't do that. But the trees go through that. And they have to tolerate. And some of them a good 5,000 years before they leave the bodies outside. So much tolerance. Not only that, Any living entity that lands on the tree can do whatever they want with the tree. The woodpecker can come and peck this poor tree and make a hole in there and say, I'm going to live there. Whatever has happened to the tree, it doesn't matter to the woodpecker. I just want a place. Hmm? All kinds of things. Even the poor birds I was talking about, they built the nest and they tried to fire the arrow and kill them. But it happened on a tree. And the tree put up with all of that. You don't think the tree also got some of the heat? Of course it did. When the nest was burning, the tree also caught heat in that situation. But he had to put up with it. So tolerant like a tree. Mm? So when people do things to us, we shouldn't do things negative back to them because two wrongs don't make a right. They don't. Mm? Your approach should be humble. If you can tell them some things in a nice way with mild words to explain the point, do that. If they are too angry, leave them alone. Krishna knows what's happened. Krishna knows what's happened. Nobody solves things better than Krishna. He ought to kill Bakasura. What can he not do when he was little? So, you don't really fight things like that. You just be wise. Sometimes you have to move away, physically get away from that person because if they're committing apparat, they're committing bystander apparat, they're gonna suffer anyway. So you move away, you're actually helping them to keep the problems that they are dumping on you, but they are piling more apparat for themselves and they're gonna pay for it. Especially Amanina Manadina. Respect everybody, but don't expect humility. I don't know what that is. So this is all there for us. And in that mood, then we can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we'll say one more point in about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, and then anyway, that Maharaj brought up that I will. So many things are here. Anyway, I'll just pick one. Unless we are devoted, this is point number 20. Unless we are devoted to God, secularism shall not leave us. Unless we are devoted to God, secularism shall not leave us. So what's secularism? Well, simply material life. Material life and just being involved in that heavily and our own thoughts and everything being material. Unless we are devoted to Krishna, that type of thinking will never leave us. So we have to be careful. Those of us that go into the material energy because of work and so on. And sometimes I just can't tell you how many lectures that I've had to sit in the university and listen to. I mean, a seminar and this that I don't like it at all, but because of work, I'm putting up with all of this. At first, I used to listen to it and look at the scientific, this point to another, and all of that. And then you become a devotee and you start chanting, you realize this is all speculation. And it is. Because we've been in there before. It's all speculation. One assumption after another, even about how the earth is put together. You have to sit and listen to all of this in somebody's philosophy, psychology. It has nothing to do with the wisdom that's in Srimad Bhagavatam. And poor me, I've listened to all of this. I'm retired now, so I don't have to deal with those kind of things anymore. But it was very difficult. Secularism, this is imposed on me because of my work. So as best as you can, yeah, you can go through one year and out the other. Whatever we need for work, you keep that. Yeah, but you just keep chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Wherever we are, there should be a picture of Krishna. There should be a picture of our Gurudev. There should be something that reminds us of Krishna all the time. That way, we can think of Krishna the whole day. As Rupa Goswami tells, always think of Krishna, never forget Krishna. Krishna also said in Bhagavad Gita, Man Mana Bhava Bhakto, think of me always. How? Well, sometimes when we're working, we can't really think of Krishna because we're doing whatever thing that we're doing. But see, the point we're making is we do have a subconscious though. That's the one that people advertise on this billboard, and you pass by them and you think, oh, I don't like this thing. Yeah, your mind has registered it, whether you like it or not. Subconscious has registered it. And so then if we're doing work and we don't even have a chance to actually chant, but the mantra is going on in music on the side, your subconscious is picking it up. When you have a picture in front of you, you're not, but you may be talking on the phone. but your eyes is looking at the picture. Therefore, your subconscious is picking it up. So these are all ways where you're not chanting Hare Krishna, but they still, the subconscious will pick up the whole day. So all we have to do is have these things and the devotion around us, and the subconscious will do the work, and then we'll be okay. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So we'll stop here. Thank you for tolerating me. I'll read the text again. Just the translation. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 11, Text 56. Although the causes of death, the Daityas, were very fierce, they could not kill this boy Krishna. Rather, because they came to kill innocent boys, as soon as they approached, they themselves were killed, exactly like flies attacking a fire. So Nanda Maharaj is in Yogamaya and describing it, but we are fortunate to have the situation that tells us Krishna will always get rid of demons on our behalf. Hare Krishna. Yeah, go Shri Prabhupada. Okay.
Thank you, Parikshit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Krishna's mercy.
It's a very nice lessons that you gave us today. Can you tell us? It wasn't clear. A couple times it broke up a little bit.
Yeah. I saw.
Nothing to be done because I hope the audience could still. I could still hear the main messages, but a couple times it got a little.
Yeah. Okay.
You were quoting from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Those. Is that what? Where can we get if we wanted to look at this as well, just to kind of.
Well, okay.
Or where could we find it?
I went to the database, and if you type words of wisdom, you don't have to put it off there because you get a whole ton of off. So words of wisdom, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, words of wisdom. Now, Agu Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, has one of his reflections book is actually words of wisdom. The whole thing is there. And yeah, so some things are there. But just do words of wisdom, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, that should be enough. And you will see it starts with the first one. First, since I just jumped, I'll say the first one. The first one is, we are put to test and trial in this world. That's how he starts. We are put to test and trial in this world. Only those who attend the kirtan of the devotees can succeed. Actually, we could have talked about it too. But all of them are wonderful, 25 of them. We are put, and there's the 64 principles. That's different. This is words of wisdom, also by Bhaktisiddhanta. So number one is, we are put to test and trial. So as soon as you put to test and trial, you're there. And you get all of them, 25 of them.
Okay, thank you.
And I apologize for the break or something, because I tried something today. I'm speaking from a basement, and normally, it's a little challenging with our router and all of that. But I did something to router, hoping that actually it's much better than the days before. But I'll just move next time upstairs so that we can get better reception without any break. So I apologize.
Hare Krishna.
If anybody didn't hear some of the others that I talked about, I'll be more than happy to repeat it. But I don't know. Hare Krishna. Any other questions, comments? We have a little more time, right? Like 5 minutes.
Hare Krishna,
Okay.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Suman, very nice class.
Okay,
very nice class.
Jai. Krishna's mercy.
I had for a long time, I believed that when we chant mantra, it purifies the atmosphere around us. But I had forgotten. But you reminded me today, and then it came into my conscious mind now. It was so nice to hear that, because then we feel that we are doing something good. We are helping others also.
Yes. So it's very important. The mantra is not for us only. Wherever we are, as long as you chant out loud, even if we are inside, yes, all kinds of living entities. They call the bacteria and the germs. They also have souls, and there's plenty of them around us, even though we can't see them. Plenty of them around us. You just chant Hare Krishna mantra, 2 million plus bacteria have already benefited their souls, just like that. The only time they don't benefit is if you chant in your mind. That's why, even though you can do any way you want, if you want to be merciful to other living entities, they have to hear the mantra. The only way they're going to benefit is when it comes out of your mouth. And that's why Govinda Maharaj is also saying, go ahead.
When we chant in our mind, so does the vibration affects around
The vibration can come out, but I'm not expert in metaphysical things, so I want to tell you when the spiritual masters are saying chant out loud, you just chant out loud.
Yeah.
And from a scientific point, you certainly chant out loud when it's come out of your mouth and it's got volume to it. You'll definitely hear. They will definitely hear. So I won't even go into that part. Yes, the mind, the thoughts, thoughts have form and thoughts can affect. That's why when the daytime, all of these people in mood, passion, ignorance, they mess up the atmosphere like that. That's true. That's true. But to relate it to the mantra, all I'll say is I'll be a servant and follow what the master says. And the master says chant out loud, so I chant out loud. But Titania was screaming Hare Krishna, but never mind chanting Kirtan. Very loud, and his hands up, all of that. So that's just to tell us we're better
Yeah,
off.
hands up also it puts us into the mood when we do the hands up and gesture.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Your
Thank
heart is as pure as you can make it. When your whole body and your emotions are into it, that's the power of the kirtan part of it. But the mantra is the same. Hare Krishna mantra, japa or kirtan is the same. If you chant out loud, they also benefit. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
And we have
Hare
those
Krishna.
of us that are initiated. We are also, I just want to make one point. We know that we have to chant because we have vowed to chant a certain number of rounds. So we have no choice. Whether they're going to benefit or not, we have to finish. We've been given only 25% of this job. We only chant 16 instead of 64. So we have no case at all. Papa says, if you don't chant 16 rounds, we are parking. She said, you're like an animal. I don't like to bring big words because the guru can use heavy words like that. I'm not, I'm just an insignificant servant. But he says, if I brought things up from 64 to 60 and you still won't do it, what should we do with you? I mean, he has a point. It definitely has a point. So chant out loud so you benefit, you get your rounds done, the entities around you benefit, and then you'll be merciful right around and have more mercy on you just by chanting out loud. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Good question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Parikshit Prabhu. Please send my obeisances. All goes to our wonderful Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Maharaj. I just wanted to thank you as usual for your wonderfully reflective and educational class that reminds us as devotees that, you made some really key points that I felt were super beneficial at this point in time. Reminding us of Shikshastakam, those 8 verses that guide us in our interactions with ourselves and others on this path of bhakti, false ego, and how when we are covered in that, we can damage ourselves and others. And also your reminder that Krishna is always merciful to us, even in our worst of times. These are all points that I feel I connect to, and that can certainly benefit anyone else that's listening or is connected in that way. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Well, thank you for the summary. You did my work for me. Just summarize everything. And only thing I add is Krishna also gives us protection, and that just covers everything. So, but the only thing I'll tell you is I'm just a servant. This is by the mercy of Guru that all of this came out. So I can't take credit for it, but you summarized it wonderfully. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. I was listening. It was a pleasure to listen. Thank you.
Yes, you couldn't have summarized if you weren't listening. So that's obviously there. But you're all kind of being used one way or the other by the mercy of Guru. So I can't take credit for it, even though it's nice. It's nice. Thank you for Guru.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I accept. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. I know to mess with you, right? Any other questions? Hare Krishna. It's all about love anyway.
No, it's really nice. I look forward to going back and reading those principles by words of wisdom. Thakur.
You can text me. You can text me if anything. You need. You can't find something.
Making them available to everybody somehow. Get these are things that little sutras or those words of wisdom kind of connect with us throughout the day when we need that reminder. Little things you put on the wall, on the bulletin board, pop up on your computer. Say, hey, because these are things we struggle with as we go through the day.
Yeah. Very important. So
Injections.
you get all 25 of them. And if it comes to the point where somebody's asking you for it and you haven't found it yet, just text me. I'll just email you. You know, it's on Word for me. All I'll do is just sending as an attachment, the entire thing. Because obviously I have it. So I can share that too.
Well, Parikshit Prabhu, thank you so much for
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
your wonderful class today. And we hope you and your family have a very wonderful holiday coming up.
Christmas.
Your community, keep with Gita Jayanti.
I hope so. For everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
We should celebrate even with more. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Jai. Go Shri Prabhupada. Vachakalpataru
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Go Shri Prabhupada. Jai. Go Shri Prabhupada.